Enemies will be your main character's prior source of opposition. This opposition originates in the alignment of both characters. Generally, both characters will belong to opposing factions. And the very fact that they are acting for these opposing factions will propose to each other as enemy. It will cement this status. The enemy is not meant, in most cases, to develop a form of direct attachment to your character. The enemy does not need to create a form of attachment to your character to oppose her, since your two characters are already part of opposing faction. The thesis of these factions is a sufficient element of enemyship. An enemy is not your enemy because of you. An enemy is your enemy because of the group you're belonging to. Enemies are the prior source of constant opposition, and this opposition will often be translated through elimination. The elimination of individuals because they represent the organization, the elimination of the organization itself, and the elimination of the organization's thesis. Now, why use the term elimination? Eliminating here does not necessarily mean killing. This part only applies to individuals in a non-metaphorical way. The elimination part here means your enemies will do everything they can to put you out of an organization. So it can be recruiting you. Now, why does the enemy want to eliminate an individual, an organization, or, and that's the most important part, a thesis? The opposing thesis is the standing stone on which rests the whole organization. So if the enemy can go to the root, to the thesis itself, the enemy can make the organization obsolete. Because if the organization has no motto, if the organization has no mission anymore, if the organization has no purpose, there is no organization. The goal of an enemy is to eliminate an opposing organization. Now, how does the enemy intend to do so? Destroying an opposing organization means destroying a thesis, which is the already established concept. We've established that the thesis is the basis of the organization. Now, how is the thesis represented? How is the thesis materialized? The thesis is materialized by people. So if the people supporting the thesis are either discredited, recruited, or directly eliminated, and here that's why we're using the word destroy, the enemy has won. The enemy wanted to invalidate the thesis. And if there are no individual to support the thesis anymore, the thesis will have, by definition, no more support. So, bringing discredit is an effective way to destroy an organization. Bringing discredit to the people running the organization is an extremely effective way to destroy the thesis in the eyes of the public. So is recruiting them. Now, poaching the key members of an opposing organization accomplishes two things. You show that those people may not be as trustworthy as they appear to be, since now they are betraying the organization, and you recruit them. Now you have more strength. Doesn't mean you have to recruit them and put them in an equivalent position. You can put them in a lower position if you're in your inner hierarchy. And finally, if none of these two work, you have the possibility to eliminate the head of the organization. Or if you're more subtle, you're not eliminating the head, but you're eliminating key members, again, just as in poaching. If you enjoyed this content and want to know more on this topic, check our video on the 6 surefire way to create an antagonist.